McDonald's has entered a Minecraft movie universe, and Grimace, Birdie, and Hamburglar just spawned as new collectibles as part of a Minecraft movie meal with your choice of Big Mac or 10-piece chicken McNuggets with spicy nether flame sauce. Participate in McDonald's for a limited time. A Minecraft movie only in theater.
McDonald's meets the Minecraft universe with one of 6 collectibles and your choice of a Big Mac or 10-piece McNuggets with spicy nether flame sauce. Now available with a Minecraft movie meal.
At participating McDonald's for a limited time. A Minecraft movie only in theaters.
Make that move, you can't relate to that. I roll the dice, shit, if I lose, I'm gonna be shaking back. Cause lessons learned within the loss just elevate the fact that trial and error just the only way. Ain't no escaping that. I wake up, hit 100 push-ups, then I'm at my route. Check on my stocks, see how they looking, then I'm sliding out. When you start seeing your progression, you stop having doubts. And what's the point of having clout if you can't cash it out? True to this game, and I'm a lifer, ayy. Feel like we finna change the cycle, ayy. That's the most success, you know we thriving, ayy. That's the most depression for our rivals, ayy. Could teach a lesson on survival, ayy. You know I'm from the bottom.
What's good with it, my wealthy people? It's your boy David, founder CEO of Black Wealth Renaissance. Here, my brother from another. Jalen, what's good, brother?
What's good, dog? It's your boy Jalen, another founder of Black Wealth Renaissance. I'm feeling great, man. I can't complain, man. Feeling blacktastic. It's Black History Month, and we making history on the daily, so I can't complain, man.
Love that, man. Black history in action, you feel me?
Yes, sir.
And, man, you already know, as always, I'm ready for the show, bro.
Back at it again.
Y'all know we back with another great installment of the Black Wealth Renaissance podcast. This is going to be another special episode. We're going to touch on some real important topics with a brother that from where we from, so that make it even more special to me. You already know how we get down, man. So, look, y'all, before we get into it, y'all make sure y'all leave 5-star rating and review for us. It helps us grow the show. Make sure you send that out to people that can get value from this. If you find value from our show, just make sure you share it. Don't be selfish. Spread the word. So, getting into it, guys, like I said, super special episode today. We got a brother from where we from. I'm not just saying Louisiana. I mean the actual city, right? Opelousas, guys. And not too many people you're going to meet from Opelousas. So when I learned that, I got really excited because not only is he from where we're from, he's doing some really impactful work and helping entrepreneurs make, and not just make money, but change the trajectory of their business and their lives through government contracting. So we have none other than Coach John Austin. Like I said, he's based out of Houston. He works in government contracting. I think I got the list of accolades go down. I mean, real estate investor, funding expert, government contracting expert. So we're excited.
Over 1.2 billion awarded.
Come on,
contracts.
1.2 with a B, right?
Yeah, not a
1.2 billion in contracts awarded. None other than Coach John Austin, founder of Bank Ready. What's good, Coach? How you doing?
Man, it's a pleasure to be here, man, for real. And it's funny to have an Opelousas in the house.
Yes,
A
sir.
small city like that, man, doing some big things. So, yeah, man, it's just definitely an honor to be here and just want to pour into the people, man.
Amen. Let's get it. So one of the first things that we're just going to ask you, like for the people who don't know you, who are not privy to you, who is Coach John Austin?
So Coach John Austin is CEO, founder, entrepreneur, father, son, brother, frat brother, grinder, husband, dad, stepdad. I don't like the step word too much, but, I'm all those things wrapped in one, but just a guy that's trying to follow God's path, you feel me, on what I'm here for and why am I here and what am I here to do and who am I here to impact. But been in this game, man, right at about 18 years. In October, last October, made 18 years in business.
That's amazing.
And
Yeah, congrats.
yeah, man, it's just been a
A
minute.
lot of people don't make it that long.
I was like, God, 18, that's wild. It made me think back, like, wow, that's a minute. Started out, prior to that, I was in cancer research. Prior to that, I was a paramedic working in the ER at St. Luke's and Herman. And when I got laid off at Baylor, I thought I had like the best job, which it was a great job. Nice salary, good schedule, flipping houses part-time, and getting laid off thrust me into entrepreneurship, which really, I didn't know it was called entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
Me, it's called work. Back home, Bellevue Street, my dad's dad.
That's Opelousas. Bellevue? That's Opelousas.
Yes, sir. And that's what my dad's family was, raised on Bellevue Street. So Gary and Glass, when it was us there,
Mm-hmm.
that's where we pick up the glass to go do a lot of construction work we was doing. So that was like, I was raised in that space. You know what I'm saying? Down the street in Lawtell, if I was on a construction site, I was actually, on a farm somewhere, cotton, sugarcane, whatever. So that was my life. You feel me? So bringing that into Houston, like, all right, let's go to work. So I really was like depressed for about a week. I was like, all right, these bills got to get paid. I got a daughter to take care of. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to lose this lifestyle. I got to get to work. And that's what spawned the whole business venture that I'm in now.
I like that that's a thing, right? It's a common theme I notice. It's always going to be some type of challenge or adversity that throws us into that. So I kind of want to just talk to you about the mentality through it, right? So like, okay, you working through this, you got laid off, you liked the job. What was the mental steps that had to go, like the mental progression?
Really, the progression happened once I got into it. Mm-hmm. There was no, let me go figure it out. Let me get this mindset thing together. Nah, it was like, all right, bro, we got to go to work. Mm-hmm. I was already, fortunately, had flipping houses part-time was a thing. And I didn't want to get away from real estate totally. So now it's a matter of, let me just turn this thing full tilt. I got to go to the city. I got to see where this money's going. I got to figure out how to grow enough revenue to pay these bills at the house. Mm-hmm. I mean, there really was none. It's just a matter of, like I said, I was depressed for about a week. I still left the house in the morning like I'm going to work. But I dipped off and went downtown. I got to build this thing up. I need a team. I need to get my realtors more. I had to go to work. So there was no, just got it done. I had to get it done. There was no in between.
So you focused on real estate full time at that point?
I had to. That was the only thing I knew I can get off right then because I already had properties that we were flipping. So I said, let me take the part-time and go full-time.
I got you. So what did that look like? Did you just increase the amount of workers that you had? Did you start swinging the hammer yourself? What did that look like for you?
A little bit of everything. So the properties that I would go look at in the afternoons, on the weekends, I started going into, okay, we need to flip these faster. Got with my crews, hey, let me need to double, triple the workload. Who's the GC? Who can I get another crew with? Mm-hmm. Hey, I got realtors I'm talking to. What else can we do? I need to get this thing going. They're like, all right, bet, let's go. And everybody jumped in because we're all eating. Mm-hmm. The realtors eat, the GCs eat, the trades will eat, plumbers will eat, everybody's eating. And I got to get in there and start working too. So I can grab a nail gun. I can go survey. Again, I've been doing it since I was little. So I just jumped right into it. Gotcha. And just made it happen.
So how'd you find your way from the real estate into government contracting? How long was that? Was that like, years after it? Or
I'm going to say around 08, 09 is when we really started peeling off. Started working with the Chamber of Commerce and speaking to
Was that due to the recession and the housing market crash?
So right before the crash happened, which really the crash didn't affect us a whole lot because already in the space and the article I showed you, the project that we were doing. So working more rigorously in the space we were in, working with the city, working with the county more, getting properties, access to properties, et cetera. I got a call one day, long story short, that they needed a minority developer up here in Dallas. Mm-hmm. So that year and a half prior to that, we're working. I'm not working to be seen. I'm working to try to get as much capital as I can. I didn't know the crash was coming. Mm-hmm. Now, some guys that I was around was like, make sure you take care of your portfolio now because things getting kind of hot out here. Mm-hmm. So get some cash to the side. I wasn't listening. I'm still running. And one of them put me to the side and said, listen, if you don't put cash on the sideline, you're going to get left out. And 6 months later, boom, the crash ended up happening. Fortunately, I had some things moved to the side, and I just started getting into the commercial space. Got a phone call to say, hey, we need a minority developer up here in Dallas. Can you come down and talk to us? Mm-hmm. That was a Friday afternoon. I packed my bag, head on out. I was in Dallas that weekend. That Monday, we had an MOU, and another week later, we were engaging and getting into the contract that we got.
Now you just dropped the term on me, Coach. You had an MOU. What is an MOU?
So MOU is a memorandum of understanding.
Okay.
So between us and the city of Hutchins, and actually the economic development director for Hutchins and Lancaster, I got real cool with, because economic development directors is somebody you got to know in your city. Okay. No matter what kind of work you're doing, they're the ones that help drive the economy. So the economic development is they're developing the economy in multiple facets: culinary, construction, IT, cyber, tourism, all of it.
They're actively looking for ways to support entrepreneurs.
They're actively looking for ways to drive GDP, gross domestic product, drive revenue, drive tax dollars. grow the economy. Just like here in Dallas, you got Frisco, you got Arlington. All these areas are growing up. Guarantee you go talk to the economic development director, and they have what's called capital improvement projects, CIPs. Those capital improvement projects are 5, 10, 15 years out. So nothing happens by happenstance, nothing at all. So you follow the money, you follow what these guys' plans are doing, and based on what your business is doing, you lockstep with them, and you can grow your business that way. That's how we should be growing our businesses, not just about what's trendy on social. IG is good now. There's some good things there, but you follow them on LinkedIn, and you go to the chamber meetings, the city meetings, the Dallas procurement meetings. They'll tell you what the money's being spent.
So they're telling you, and so I'm trying to get a full image of like, so you go into these meetings, making me think kind of like with we spoke with Chris Senegal before. He talked about with development a lot of times, looking at the city's plans, kind of along the same lines of that, where you're looking at, I know Frisco, we brought Frisco up as an example. They're building the Universal Studios out there, something like that. It may have just been announced again now, but something like that's probably been in the works for years, right?
It's been in the works for, I knew about it 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Just because I knew people in the market, and we have clientels all over the place. So you keep your feet to the ground. There's a lot of stuff that I can't even stay open because it's coming. You sign NDAs often, depending on what meetings that you're in, depending on who's going to get that prime contractor position. So there's a lot that happens, man, in those procurement sessions that, shucks, NASA just put out their 20-year plan. They announced they were on the moon last spring, but I was at a Johnson Space Center Small Business Forum. They announced that 6 months prior to that, but the city didn't announce it until they attended that meeting. So being in those spaces, man, again, you see how long it takes for business to really come out. But if you're in lockstep with economic development, man, you can't go wrong. So recessions happen, but there's two sides of recessions. So which side you going to be on? The economic growth side, because markets downturn to reset. And when they come back around, which they always do, look what's going on now. Guarantee you, watch what happens this spring in some with real estate. Let them rates go down a little bit further and watch how much people flood the market and watch them prices go up.
Everybody been sitting here waiting on a crash.
Certain markets crash differently. This is a whole nother monster, though. This market and how it's doing is not like exactly like what 08, 09 was, or what 1920 was, or what the dot-com. It's like a mix of a couple things at once. Will there be a crash of some sorts? You have it. A crash is really, by definition, a double-digit drop in a short period of time. So we've had multiple little crashes here and there. It's just you've had also economic growth happening, so it hadn't really hurt so much.
We rebounded much faster than what they anticipated.
And the U.S., I mean, they know how to not let things fall apart. Some things will, but at the same time, I got to give Powell his credit and a lot of the people that are involved behind the scenes. A lot of things are happening, man.
Yeah.
A lot of things are happening. So you have to be right and make sure that your business is what the market is asking for at that time, and be in positions that, and it's not sexy, but be in these different procurement and economic rooms, chamber of commerce rooms, where you can consistently see where the markets are going.
So clearly your business was, right for that, to where you were able to be acknowledged and say, hey, we need a developer up here. What did that look like, that first deal?
So we started out, they said, okay, we need a minority contractor, someone who knows how to handle general contractors, trades.
Was it due to the allocation of funds, a minority had to win it?
Every government contract, there's going to be a certain percentage that has to go to small business, and then they'll section it off to where they want a certain percentage to go to what's called MBEs, minority business enterprises, women businesses, veteran-owned businesses. They want to make sure that there's an equal playing field for everybody. So if it's a $100 million project, and let's just say, for example, J.E. Dunn on McCarthy, because they're big builders out here, they'll be the prime. They'll run the project. They got the bonding, the licensing, insurances, all that. But then a certain percentage of that, they want to make sure that small business can play a role. I got on my phone this data that I'll pull up, right? You got a certain amount of small business that runs this country. So if you look at, there are 33,185,000 small businesses in the U.S. Small businesses employ 61.7 million Americans. It's the undergird that controls a lot of this economy. So small business is not going to go anywhere. Right, you got maybe 5% that are big and middle cap to large cap. A small business plays a large role in that. So then make sure there are small business thresholds to make sure there's enough small business that are feeding and eating, if you will. So they needed a small business, and they saw what we were doing, heard what we were doing. We had already been doing outreach, with the city, with the state. I was certified as a hub business, historically unutilized business in the state of Texas. So if anybody is small, black or brown, woman-owned, and you're in Texas, for example, any state really, Texas is a hub state. So if you're not certified as a hub vendor, you don't show up on their radar. If I wasn't certified, they wouldn't know who I was.
Gotcha.
If I wasn't in those meetings and talking, they wouldn't have heard me. If I wouldn't be making those phone calls and emails and reaching out, they wouldn't know who I was.
Gotcha. So while you were developing, you always knew you wanted to get into government contracting.
I never knew it was called government contract until I really got on Instagram. Honestly, it's called procurement.
Gotcha.
So yes, there's GovCon, there's those titles, but if I pull up Dallas procurement, it doesn't say Dallas government contracting. It says Dallas procurement. We're working with Atlanta, the city of Atlanta. It's Atlanta procurement. City of Houston Office of Business Opportunity, their procurement department.
Gotcha.
How you procure goods and services, these cameras, these mics, juice, food. It's a procurement system and cycle. So how is that, those goods and services procured? And you do it with government, public, or private, doesn't matter. So I knew I wanted to scale up because I couldn't stay where I was at. I need to keep going. So who else has a bigger checkbook than your own city, county, state, federal?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And they gotta allocate these funds. They
Yeah,
got a budget. They gotta spend this money.
Got to.
Now I kind of want to ask, like, with the procurement process, right? Just kind of, I know you mentioned the MOA with MOU with the city of Hutchins in that one. Can you kind of talk like through the process of procurement?
So the government cycle, the procurement process is a cycle. You make sure you're aware of what's going on, who's spending what where, right? Dallas, the city of Dallas may spend a certain amount of money, XYZ. The county will spend money. Parishes will spend money back home. The state of Texas will spend money in certain areas. So you want to be on the radar of where is the work being done. You figure out the jurisdiction later on, because work's being done. Is that county work? Is that city work? Is that state work? Is that federal work? You look at all the freeways. That's the Department of Transportation. TxDOT is Texas Department of Transportation. So all the striping, all the freeways is being built, tollways and all that, that's a TxDOT. That's a federal situation. But the off-ramps and different things of that nature, that can fall into a different jurisdiction. So when you attend these meetings, they tell you what's going on. And based on what you do, you fall in line with who is offering that work. And it's just a cycle. That project may come out next year, 6 months from now. They may have a project now. The first thing you want to do is attend a pre-bid meeting. That's the first thing.
So what I'm really gathering from what you're saying here, Coach, is the biggest thing before all the other stuff, I mean, outside of, having the actual capability, you need to be in the room.
Position it.
We have 4 pillars in our company: planning, strategy, credentialing, and certification, and positioning. That word. Positioning is everything. If you're in the right position, you sit in the right rooms, you ain't got to say much of nothing. I tell people, just go sit down. Hearing where to go will position you correctly.
Give me them 4 pillars again one more time.
Planning, because you hear about strategic planning, right? I don't like the word too much. Planning, what are we going to do? Write it down, make it plain. We talk about that scripture a lot, Habakkuk 2:2. Go a chapter before. The Most High tells us to write down what you see. So we talk about write it down, make it plain all the time. We preach it. We probably, if folks watch this replay, they know that scripture. But what did he say before that? What are you writing down and making it plain? So what you see in these meetings in the rooms that you're in, you write that down and plan out. Okay, what are we going to do next week, next month, next quarter, next year, next 5 years? And my plan has got to be lockstep with who I'm following. Who's got my money? Who's got the projects? I'm following right in line with you, so I don't go too far out. And that positioning is hella important. If not, who's guiding you? Quite frankly, is social media guiding you? Oh crap, you in trouble now.
Yeah, you taking 60-second sound bites and trying to run with it to run your business is not a good plan.
it's not a good plan because you're basing your plan off of someone else's meal ticket. That city plan ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Nowhere. And I know what's guiding it. They need to grow the economy across the board. We're in a global economic war right now. So that money is being spent to grow the economy so that the U.S. doesn't fall off to BRICS or whatever. And if it does, okay, we still got to grow.
Yeah.
Globally, everybody's growing
Even
their
if we
economy.
become like Europe, we still gonna want to still be one of the largest countries in the world. We're not just gonna let it go to nothing.
Europe's still growing. Everybody's still growing to some extent.
We just wouldn't be the world superpower, which that's a different conversation. But
yeah, I don't see they're gonna lose that anytime soon. That's a whole nother deal. But yeah, I think, and you can write this down 5 years, 10 years from now. I think the U.S. is making a nice pivot off of losing that power. They're supposed to, based on history, but the way they're moving now, they're doing pretty decent. The economy's doing decent.
Historically speaking, what is it like every 200 years, something like that?
So technically, we should have fell off by now.
Yeah.
But it's a fight. You think people gonna let that power go that fast? And the infrastructure that they have, and that's another thing about government contracting. If you're not in government contracting, one way or another, you need to touch it. Because we need to be okay with it not being so scary. Mm-hmm. Government is universities. Government is so many things that we don't even realize. You can be government adjacent, be right next to it, and still touch it. It's totally fine. It's just a process. And who has the money and opportunity, quite frankly. So it's not hard to do. It's business. B2B, business to business, and business to government. That's all. B2G. So what business are you in? And who has your meal ticket? Who has your opportunity? Is it government? Okay, cool. What I got to do to work with you? Okay, I need to fill out this paperwork. I need to get the certifications. I need a business plan. I need my numbers. I need this. I need that. Okay, cool. Bet. That's my plan. My strategy is how do I execute the plan? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's go. What strategy? Who I need to talk to? Who knows more than me about this space?
How did it help you, once again, position yourself?
It's all about position, yeah.
So I want to get back to the first deal, right? So you go, you do that. What's the next steps for you to be awarded that contract?
We really built the contract on our own, which people don't realize. When you have relationships with government and you're solving their problems, you'd be surprised what they have had planned and what they have room to grow. So we're building out, and I should have brought it with me today. I'm going to take pictures and send it to you. The actual architectural renderings for the truck stop, for the travel center. At Travel America, that's our base project. So the intermodal, you said earlier, the intermodal needed it. You know how many intermodals in the United States? A couple dozen. So Sioux City, Iowa, Manitoba, Canada, Monterey, Mexico, Dallas needed 2, and there was a New York needed 1, Port in California needed 1, and one in Louisiana needed 1. So that's 50 plus
and when
million.
you say they needed 1, they needed truck stops and everything?
They needed the travel centers and how we were building them.
I got you.
They wanted green. This is where green commercial was starting to kick up a little bit.
I got you.
So if it's a $50 plus million situation times 12, that's how we ended up at $1.2 billion.
Gotcha.
Because they all bought the rights and licenses to it.
So break that back down. So you said 50. It was 50 M's times 12.
50 M's.
Gotcha.
And how we ended up doing that, NASCO is the North American Super Corridor Coalition, positioning on another level. How can me as a small business, who do I need to network with? Who should I be in bed with as far as the Chamber of Commerce, or what group handles all of where we're going? Because I'm in this intermodal now. This is touching everything. I go to a global summit in Quebec City, Canada, changed my life. I'm there and I'm seeing, like, they got the earpieces on, and when someone makes a joke in Asian, they laugh first, but the translator's in your ear. So the room laughs at different times because the translator is translating to you what in your language what they just said. And right down like, whoa, hold on. I got the world in this room. This is crazy. So what connects all these people? What's going on with this stuff? So I got a chance to know about the ports, intermodals, and how business works.
Like global transit, transportation, all that.
And NASCO's, to this day, their mission is greening the corridor. Meaning when you take goods and services from Mexico and bring it across to New York and to Canada, every state has a different jurisdiction. which truckers were having problems going state to state to state because they had so many different things they had to abide by. So NASCO's North American Super Corridor Coalition was let's green the corridors. So I'm like, I got to get with them. I got a board seat, pay my dues, got accepted, I'm in. So now what I'm doing in Dallas is green everywhere, which means I can put my intellectual property where it's needed. And that's how
license that intellectual property.
God darn right. And that's how I went from Dallas to every intermodal that needed it.
So, Coach, all right, so kind of explain that to me. So, with the licensing, right, that's technically not a contract.
When they pay you for it, it is.
Okay.
So a contract is basically an agreement to provide services.
Okay, all right.
So if you're contracting with the government, they're agreeing to provide, you're providing them a service. It's either back on the back of a request for proposal, a request for information, or you're responding to a bid. There's multiple ways you can get awarded a contract. There's certain contracts you can get awarded without even bidding at all.
And the intellectual property was the actual architectural renderings that you guys created for the intermodal.
Initially, we were going to build out all of them, and that's where it went. A $1.2 billion deal at a certain point got too big for me. I had to exit. I couldn't handle it. Way too big.
Being your first government contract.
Yeah, the 50M one cool, 100M, I was stretching it, and I didn't know what I didn't know. And I didn't know it was a $1.2 billion deal until the article came out. The article was in the actual newspaper. And I'm like, okay, I didn't think anything of it because we're building this thing. This is 15 years ago. So I'm young, running it. I'm like, all right, bet, let's go. I'm going to take over the world. When your team ain't built ready for it, things happen.
So and when you say you wasn't ready, like you had to do all of these simultaneously, build all of these at the same time? Or?
No, it was going to be like, I think, a 7-8 year deal.
Okay.
You get to a point where your team starts to stretch its capacity. The things that I'm consulting on now, I'm teaching by experience. A $1 billion project sounds good. You start executing on it.
You get $1 billion problems, huh?
I mean, stress, man. And then my team wasn't like it is now. People get real greedy, getting amnesia. Things start happening. Money changes people if you're not ready for it. The culture of the company wasn't built to be $1 billion like that. It turned from project like a year and a couple months. Boom. Because opportunities can come. And we had a great product. And every time I drive up and down 45, I'm like, damn, how big this thing has gotten? Oh my God. But I don't feel bad because I know what I couldn't handle. I know how much money is enough, and I know how what's too big. So when I see people talk about projects and all that, I say, no, you ain't running that. I know I can watch what you're doing and tell how big your company truly is and what you're executing on. Because
like you still got to have the capability at the end of the day to execute these contracts, right?
Everything in government contracting, you'll hear people have capability statements. Your capacity needs to be of a certain depth and width. You got to have the capacity and capability to handle it, for sure. So you're going to squat 4 racks, 4 plates. Can you handle that?
Yeah.
Can you run and have you built yourself up for that? That's the whole thing, man. So getting too big too fast, I see it now. Companies will get in a contract and explode and implode from the weight of it. Recently, we've seen it. So there's a way you have to scale your business accordingly with the right structures and systems and processes and stuff like that. I don't want to scare people, but you have to plan, strategize, position, and know what's coming.
Got to build it brick by brick so you can't, like you said, try that rapid growth. And I think I like with the lottery. When people hit the lottery, it's, oh man, this big influx of cash, and a lot of them you see them, they end up losing it because they weren't prepared for that moment with that money. So it's kind of the same thing with those contracts.
Very true.
Now I had a question about those with the contracts. I'm hearing these big numbers, right? 1.2 billion, 50 million. These are to execute projects, right?
You got the same question I had.
So when we start looking at that, what is it looking like in terms of the profit from these types of things? Because I've heard and I've spoken to people, it was like, I think one of the people we interviewed before, they gave an example of somebody who had like $100 million government contract, but they were still losing money. How is that possible?
So when you look at your numbers, you have your profit and loss statement, how much money is coming in, top line revenue. What are your expenses? Fixed and variable costs. What's your cash flow? Bank ready teaches that a lot. That's why we're so good with J.P. Morgan and a few of the banks. Banks will lend you based on cash flow. So I don't care what the top line number is, 100 million, 10,000, 100,000. What's that cash flow? You can have 50K a month business. So what? That should impress nobody. That's why our financial literacy has to go to another level. Just being literate of it is okay, but really understanding the functionality of what that profit and loss, what's your cash flow, and really, what's your cash burn? What's the cash burn rate? You can have a $100 million project. Great. At the end of the day, is that a 15% profit margin, 30% profit margin, 28% profit margin? If I'm around 30, 25, 30, I'm good. Anything less than that, boy, you cutting it close. Because if that money doesn't come in, what's your runway? Another word we need to know. If I got $50,000, how long will $50,000 last me if nothing else comes in? Well, you got a $100 million project. So what? My expenses is $100 million or $80 million, whatever that is. Numbers are numbers. So let's get away from it being such a big number. And what are the expenses? When we had that project, that's a lot of money went to R&D. A lot of money went to R&D because we had to bring technology from London, from South Africa. We had a warehouse in Atlanta that we had to pay for
the
shipping
intermodal,
it over
right?
here. Yeah. So I'm going from that to shipping it here in Dallas, setting it up, and you need it in other places. Ooh, that money goes quick. I mean, fast. And if I hadn't planned that out, and then you want me to expand, and the bank won't lend me right away because I'm still kind of small, and
Gotta be strategic, like you were saying.
Hella strategic. And there's ways you can scale into that. And I didn't know what I know now. I was smart then, but I'm not that smart. And it was just me, necessarily. My team wasn't what it should have been to really help advise me in that space, right? You got sharks in the water. So many things going on. So I'm blessed to have done it. Trust me, I lean on it all the time. But to have a $100 million project, we got to go into the minutia of the numbers and what really breaks that thing down. So when you're going after projects, I need that project to be lean on my costs so my profit margin can be good. How often am I getting paid out on that project? And is it going to extend my bandwidth where I can't do anything else? Got to bob and weave just right with these projects. Which, again, this business. This is the fun part. I like this stuff.
So from what I'm hearing is basically that's what's being awarded to execute. If you can get it under within a certain profit margin, that's where you're making your money, your bread and butter.
Exactly. And if you know your numbers well enough, and you know that you can scale that project, because getting government contract, honestly, is not that hard. If you do it right, it's not difficult. There's things people do that I wouldn't advise them to do, but yeah, getting it is not hard. Even my folks that are in government who are even watching this episode, they're like, no, it's not. Getting it and scaling it and exiting that project with a positive profit margin.
That's the difficult part.
That's the part. Now, if you can get that finesse right and do it correctly, and you exit with a good grade, and like, okay, what else can you do? Can you do this? Can you go here? Can you do that? All right, now we good. Now we cooking. And that's how you can really grow your riches and make a good lifestyle with it.
Come back to that same thing though. First, you gotta build the skill.
Got to, man.
So, Coach, you were saying at the time, you said whenever you were doing it, your team wasn't there. What changes did you have to make, or like what qualities did you have to identify to have a team that can help you run a multi-million-dollar business?
Having people, well, one, I had to, as CEO, you have to discern and know up front what's needed. And luckily I'd gone to, LSU, International Finance and Trade, business degrees, et cetera. So I had to lean on that heavier. I was, my first team, I relied too much on what they said they can do compared to what they really were doing. And I didn't build it, not the whole team, not core pieces of my team. Some of my team, that guys were working for Microsoft at the time. So I had some great designers, great architects, but some key positions, I let them run with it, and I didn't have checks and balances for me to check in on that to make sure it's doing what it's supposed to do. And if you didn't do it, there should be a 1, 2, 3, you're out of here type of strategy. Because everybody's disposable. Everybody. And they need to know it going into it. But we got to be a family, and there's a culture you've got to build. So that was my first run at it. It was a heavy run. So now going into it, I got Kendra and Daria and Siobhan and Suzanne and you know, Jillian and Julian, we got a hell of a team. But it started with Kendra, because once I started, I said, I got to grow. In this digital space now, Kendra was just my admin, and now she's VP. But she's gatekeeper. She's so many things. Daria's worked with Oppenheimer. She's done compliance. She does our clients' compliance. So now we're at a space where we can handle it. I can handle $1 billion contract if I wanted to. Do I want one? No.
Why not?
Now, it's not about
$1 billion headaches.
I don't want that headache. Now, 42 million, this, that, and the third, and certain, I'm very strategic about it. I know how much I need. I know how much money you really can spend. I don't need the Rolls Royce. I've had a Lamb, whatever. I had a Urus, whatever. But those things are cool. But at the end of the day, if that asset isn't creating a certain profit margin for me, and it's too much expense for me, why do I have it? Makes zero sense. None at all. Like, I love where we live. Lake Houston's right there. You know, we downsized the office just recently. Got a downtown office, a lot cheaper. An office right near my home. I'm cutting expenses because I know things need to be lean to grow. So you've got to almost back up to go faster. You've got to downsize sometimes to take off. So you're not having so much weight on you. Because when it's time to sprint, I know what that needs to look like and feel like. We're marketing the brand now. Before I got here, I've been watching y'all and ticking with y'all for a minute. Like, I'm coming. Let me get the system right. So when we pop and start marketing and letting people know what we do, we got the base to let people come on the platform and really learn.
McDonald's has entered a Minecraft movie universe, and Grimace, Birdie, and Hamburglar just spawned as new collectibles in the overworld. Now for a limited time, you can get one of 6 McDonald's collectibles when you order a Minecraft movie meal. With your choice of Big Mac or 10-piece chicken McNuggets with spicy nether flame sauce. Available now in a biome near you. Oh, and at your local McDonald's.
At participating McDonald's for a limited time. A Minecraft movie only in theaters.
This episode is brought to you by Chevy Silverado. When it's time for you to ditch the blacktop and head off-road, do it in a truck that says no to nothing. The Chevy Silverado Trail Boss. Get the rugged capability of its Z71 suspension and 2-inch factory lift. Plus, impressive torque and towing capacity thanks to an available Duramax 3-liter turbo diesel engine. Where other trucks call it quits, you'll just be getting started. Visit Chevy.com to learn more.
So, and I heard you mention the $42,000 contract. I know you just recently secured one. What is that one for, and what would something like that for you be, like the profit margin on something like that be for you?
It's a 38% profit margin. Everything gets signed off probably like another month or two, and I think it's like 6 years.
Okay.
Right. So AI development, business development, from Air Force, from the city, and from the private sector. Can't say too much because you got to make sure you sign off on it. But those, I'm smiling because I'm like, I try not to think about it until it's happening. But I just fell into that. There's stuff in my phone right now that I fell into from last week. We had a government contracting kind of retreat. Everybody in the room is government. Air Force, VA, Department of Defense, 5, 6-star generals, all that kind of stuff. And that's in one space with other businesses, teaching and pruning and really coaching in that government procurement space. So there's no government without government contracting. And it's funny because you don't see a guru in the room because they know who's talking, who's not, and they don't have time for that. But I'll show you when we get done. Department of Homeland Security, 2-3 contracts. Here, apply for this. Let me know when you're done. I'll make a phone call. Relationships. Man, I'm going to throw out a number. Government contracting really and business in general, 70% relationships. 10 to 15% what you are financially able to do, and the rest is what you know.
So it's a lot less about what you know and more about who you know.
Every government agency, procurement officer, program manager that you'll talk to in real time, Captain Reese, my guy with the Air Force, he's with Booz Allen right now, hell of relationships. Because they can hear and they see what you're doing, and they want to help. Like, they seriously, everybody who's in those spaces want to see small businesses grow. So if you build relationships and that trust, oh man, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. You back up what you say you can do, and they see what you're doing, and they can vouch for you. Now we talking.
Sky's the limit, huh?
Stratosphere.
So I do have a question because we're talking about government right now, right? We know with our government, we hear about, oh man, the government's possibly going to shut down. The government has now hit a new debt ceiling. We got to re-strategize. How does those things affect government contracting, right? Whenever they're like, oh, we're going to have to furlough workers. They won't be able to go into work if the debt ceiling isn't cleared. I think it actually happened like 2 or 3 years ago, like in 2020 or 2019. I remember a lot of government workers didn't go to work because of that.
Do you remember for how long?
It was only like 2 weeks or something like that.
Cool. And they end up getting paid, back pay?
I think so.
I don't care about all that. That's mostly media.
Gotcha.
And I'm asking you not to be sarcastic and facetious, not to knock your question. I don't care. Because I know they just playing around.
Because Uncle Sam going to keep things running.
They'll be fine. The whole government never shuts down.
Gotcha.
Certain agencies at certain times will shut down. I knew people that were in Maryland who, there's one young lady in particular, we were on the phone a lot, and she was with a particular university system, and her job got kicked out like 30 days. So she was off for a little bit, had to watch her pennies, and then they kicked back in. I think whenever the government came back, she was back on work again. Got her back pay and a little bonus and kept it moving. So it depends on what areas of government are shutting down. When you realize how big the government really is, like how much goes on, that whole thing can't shut down. If the whole government shut down, we'd be invaded so fast, because everything would go.
That's the infrastructure of the country.
Would fall right to the floor.
Yeah.
The gates would open, let's go. That's not going to happen. The news media and other clickbaity kind of things, and yes, it is serious. I don't knock it, because people who get furloughed and they get stressed out because they don't know, I get it. But for me, I'd make sure I'm diversified enough to where if this is down for a minute, okay, we're going to furlough that until we go over here. Gotcha. So I'll have contracts with the city. I'm on the IMPP mentorship program. I have had contract with the port. I'm talking with JP Morgan, Shell, those type of names. I'm not name dropping to be coy or cocky or anything. Just that you need to be able to maneuver and have different relationships in different sectors to keep your business flowing. Those 7 streams of income, all that kind of good thing. But what does it look like for you? You can't just rely on one thing.
So you don't want to just be like, even if you're in the government space, you don't want to just you don't want your eggs all in one basket, no matter regardless of what you do.
Not at all. You want to be doing something that drives revenue some kind of way.
Yeah.
Okay, something, one thing. And to become a subject matter expert in that space, there's a book called Outliers. Outliers talks about the 10,000 hours. Get your 10,000 hours plus and be good at that. Anchor your roots down, because when the tree is growing, the roots go down, then they spread. Then the trunk comes up, and then the leaves and the fruit. Well, do the same thing in business. Get a root system down, stay there first, get good at one thing, and then you can go out and start serving the government or the private sector in those areas. That will bring up more relationships and more opportunities, and then you start to spread out. You got to go down and deep before you can go vertical. I'm horizontal to go vertical.
Oh, that's good.
Got to.
Good. So, Coach, we talking about government right now. Well, we were kind of prior to that. We were talking about earlier. You mentioned that with your business, you downsized the office, and you kind of leaning out to prepare for some things. And it made me think about kind of the economic environment that we're in right now. I know they've been talking about recession for basically since 2021, right? I don't see if it happened yet. I don't know if we're really in one. But I do see that a lot of businesses are doing similar to what you're doing, right? They're leaning out. They're focusing on really cutting a lot of the fluff, because we were talking about that on one of the prior episodes, like a lot of the tech companies, cutting a lot of the fluff and just making sure that you're running really tight businesses.
Actually, like Disney, Disney recently had Bob Iger come back as CEO, and he cut a lot of shit, but they just had their earnings. They posted record earnings since the last time he was CEO. Like this past quarter, fourth quarter 2023, they posted their record earnings due to the downsizing and the leaning.
Becoming a more profitable business. So kind of, I guess my question out of that is, like, with that, like coming into this environment, what advice would you offer to like small business owners that like to navigate this?
So prior to COVID, we were on at least a 10+ year tear. Bull run like crazy. Money was cheap, easy to get stuff going. You didn't really have to, I won't say work too hard, but it was a run. COVID shucks things up. The inverted yield curve is the yield curve inverting is a sign of a recession. One of the indicators. I think when we counted, it probably did it like 5-6 times.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, really? One's supposed to be enough, but this happened over and over and over again. So it's a major shaking of the markets. When it happens, there's a lot of uncertainty. So you have to be lean to be able to pivot. One of the benefits of being a small business is that you shouldn't have to be like the Titanic and take forever to move. It's hard to do. Costs a lot. Small business, you need to be lean so when an opportunity strikes or when the market opens, those doors don't stay open forever.
You can just pivot.
Yes, indeed. So when we were using AI for the last 4 years and got really good at it, and now it's become more retail, we have our own chat GPT model. We have our own bank-ready GPT, right? So now the AI is here, we can teach you, we can show you how to do that. So what I would advise any small business to do, make sure your plan is being advised properly. Somebody in the space that's me, subject matter expert, who's got those hours, those years of expertise, right? Those 10,000 hours to help guide you, because you can't be going 6 months and dang, I should have done this. You lost 3 months. You ain't got time for that right now. We have to be lean in our processes, lean in how we're moving. Everybody's very open. You know, if payroll gets kind of missed a little bit here and there, let's breathe, get with these banks now, like right now, so that they know what you're doing. You know how to get your lines of credit. Don't just go off of any line of credit you see on Instagram, because that interest payment cost might be 15, 30%. So just because you can get a no-doc loan, I would not touch those. Nope.
You may recommend no doc because of higher interest?
Know your numbers. Yes. I don't recommend nothing until it may seem great, but that $100,000 can cost you X.
Yeah.
You pull that money down. Does your cash flow and top line revenue, have you calculated and planned for that interest cost? Does your cash flow coming in the door?
30% at $100K, that is going.
That's going to tax you. So it's cute if the social media influencer looks appealing and is pointing to the ceiling and all these different things and makes it look great. But where's the back end CPA to help you? You know, shout out to all the CPAs and enrolled agents out there. Y'all might want to get with a good CPA who knows your industry and can walk you through that beforehand. Then you pull the money down. You may need more or less. You don't know. Talk to the bank. So what I would tell people is be real strict on your plan. What do you plan on doing? And can you look a year, 3 years down the road and reverse engineer back to how you're going to move on that plan today? That's what I'd advise any small business owners to do. And you don't always have to start the sucker from scratch. Go buy you a business. You got to start from zero.
You open that segue.
You want to talk about that.
Let's talk about it, right? So that's another thing that I know I see you preaching is acquisitions. And one of the things that me and you, we had a phone conversation. You said it's actually easier to buy a business than it is to buy a home in America.
Yeah.
So give me that philosophy, how you came up with that, and then I kind of want to go into the process and strategies of acquisitions.
So if I'm looking at, we'll use the government contracting space. We'll use construction, infrastructure. So we always hear there's not enough people going to trade school to be plumbers and electricians and all that kind of thing. But they need them right now. So I may want to start this candle business or this apparel business, but does the market actually want that right now? In this lean, recessionary, volatile, uncertainty of an economic time period, starting from zero and creating a brand takes freaking time. You ain't got time for that right now. You gonna take 6 months, a year to build a brand, bro? You could have bought one that's already making money. What's the one thing that's hurting our culture right now that the one asset we are running out of?
Time.
So if I go and acquire a 15-year-old electrical company, plumbing company, HVAC, landscaping, it's already working. I can go back and look at 7 years of tax returns, bank statements, all of that. It's running. It's a car that's already been fueled up, gassed up, armor all up. I'm ready. Give me the keys. damn, they got to jump in there for the kid so it'll run off without me. I can plug that existing business from the owner, say he's 60 years old. He ready to retire, man. I'm like, bro, I'm tired. I want to go back to Venezuela. I want to go somewhere. I'm done working. My kids don't want to take it over. They trust fund kids, or they're doing something else. But the people don't want to lose their jobs. They still working. So let me get Joe over here, who's been with you forever. Let him be the manager. Let me take over as owner. I'm a CEO of mine. I'm an entrepreneur. I know how to run a business. I'm good. Tap into all of what's in that business. I'm understanding the government contracting space. I know Cowboy Stadium, Arlington, all these places that need landscaping, plumbing, electrical. I'm attending all these meetings. SBA has funding, 7A loans, 504 loans. That will fund me not based on my credit.
What, on the revenue of the business?
Yes, sir.
On the business you intend to purchase.
And the business credit that's been there for years.
Wow.
Because think about it. It has all these things already.
So I'm in here, my mind, I'm thinking they're evaluating you individually, but they're looking at the business you want to purchase.
It's basically asset lending. Like, we've heard it in real estate where it's like you might be purchasing a deal and your deal is already cash flowing. So they'll base the lending requirements on that. It's the same thing.
Kind of like with like the multi-family homes.
Yes.
Yeah, like whenever you're buying a multi-family.
They're funding the deal. They're funding you. That's why I want the owner to stay on. Because if he goes, now they're looking at you a little bit more. Like, you just came to this ballpark. I need the cat.
He's got the experience.
Yeah, so let him stay on as advisor.
Like a board member, something like that?
Something of that nature, yes. Let the company stay together, right? And all of y'all come to the table. They'll fund the cash flow and the viability of that business. 7A loans are for that. 504 loans are for the assets. You can do both together. They love acquisitions. Banks like that. I got assets. I got cash flow. I got proven stability over here. And you can put it into a contracting situation. I do that. Multifamily. I go buy me some laundromats, strip centers. They got asset producing businesses within them. We as a culture can do that. If we all did that, everybody watching is all you follow. If we started doing that more, how much assets and cash revenue would we have in our culture? Like
currently,
yeah. I mean, it ain't like overnight, but take 24 months. Don't start that business. Go buy one.
At Sierra, discover top workout gear at incredible prices, which might lead to another discovery. Your headphones haven't been connected this whole time. Awkward. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
The spirit of innovation is deeply ingrained in America, and Google is helping Americans innovate in ways both big and small. The Department of Defense is working with Google to help secure America's digital defense systems, from establishing cloud-based zero-trust solutions to deploying the latest AI technology. This is a new era of American innovation. Find out more at g.co/American innovation.
So I still want to see, though, how is it easier than buying a house? Like, is it like the credit requirements or just because of the
credit requirements for a house? You got to have a certain credit score, certain debt to income ratio, yada, yada, yada. Put money down, earn this, that, and the third. So it's a little bit more painstaking. A business, they don't need you to have all this paydex score, this, that, and the third, and high credit, all this, that, and the other. No. There's a certain formula that they look for: profit and loss, profit margin, cash flow, the basic things that make a business successful. So when you're doing your due diligence and you look at that business, there's things that check off. Is this a healthy business? Great. I'm talking to my banker already. I'm about to acquire this business. What should it look like? They'll give you a checklist. There's more businesses for sale than people to buy them.
Where you go to buy them businesses?
Just like you go to HAR or Zillow for real estate, Biz Buy Sell, BIZ, BUI Sell, BizQuest, LoopNet, Transworld, Business Advisors. There's a ton, and they list them.
So I would go to the banker. I say, hey, what are some of the requirements you are looking for if I wanted to acquire this business? Then I get on LoopNet or BizBuy, and I just go find a business that's within that requirement.
Yep.
How hard is it to get a business owner who's selling to stay on the board?
Not hard at all, because in most of the listings you look for, they'll say owner will stay on for 6 months, owner will stay on for a year. I had one as a woman-owned business in New York, electrical company, $20 million revenue company. I already had contracts with the state of New York, and that's a union state. Some contracts is on lock. She stayed on for 5 years. Why is she leaving? Her husband is passing. He's ill. That's a whole culture of people that don't want to lose work, but she's like, I can't stay on. Yeah. So we got a client that she will help groom him to be who she is, and she'll stay on as an advisor.
She just can't keep on being a day-to-day operation.
It's just a lot for her. You know what I'm saying? You see that a lot. So when I'm looking for businesses, the perfect trifecta, SBA approved, owner finance, owner will stay on for a year or so. Cash flowing, profitable, already got a culture, already got clients, all that stuff's going on for them. And I can put that into a contracting situation, swinging for the fences. Yeah. And I can do it. We all can do it, because I'm not the owner that's working. So, like, what's the culture look like? What's the owner's job? What were you doing Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Oh, reasonably passive, some accounting, this, that, and the third, whatever. Or you was in a mechanic shop. Yeah, I did this, I did that. Can you fill his role, or can somebody else step in and do the things you can't do? Okay, cool, bet, let's go.
And I'm glad you just said that, because it kind of brings up a question I want to ask you. I noticed, like, in our community, especially in the Black community, it's like a lot of our businesses, a lot of us, our mentality isn't that what you just said, right? I'm going to hire my weaknesses. What advice would you offer to entrepreneurs that are hesitant to that?
Get around somebody that has been in business for at least 7 to 10 years. Been in business. I don't need a business coach that just learned something on YouTube, respectfully. And this is how people need to get this. That fancy stuff ain't cool. Going to Atlanta or Miami or whatever, just because a cat riding a certain way and living a certain lifestyle on Instagram does not equate to a certain business acumen. I'm sorry. We need to get out of that. We was bombing in the 40s and 50s. We did it right out of slavery and Reconstruction. So we are great. We know our stuff, quite frankly. Get around those business circles like I mentioned earlier. That's where we need to go. We've allowed the entertainment value of the bull run we just had to make it seem like that's business. I don't see that on LinkedIn. I don't see that at the Chamber of Commerce meetings. I don't see that in any of the stuff that I'm around. Now, yes, Instagram has great business value. There's a lot of guys and gals out here killing it. But my point is, to your question, we have to get around more business structure. Stop killing college as if it's the scam of the century. No, the scam of the century is paying this cat 100 racks, and he can't run a business, but he sound good. Like, really, bro?
That is a scam.
You gonna pay this cat who sounds good, who's being taught to speak well, 100 racks, and then the guy paying him, they're in an agreement together. They got an MOU to say that's his mentor. He gonna pay him 150 racks, but I can't find one business that you're successful with. That's hurting our people, man.
Besides this.
That article I showed you that I was telling you about earlier, right? The new FTC data shows that consumers reported losing nearly $8.8 billion to scams in 2022.
Damn.
To scams. And this is the guru culture. This has been reported on the Federal Trade Commission's website. Get these emails all the time. One of my clients sent this to me too. Like, we need to get you marketed better, man, because our people are hurting because of this stuff right here. So one of my main missions is to come out and say, this is what business should look like. We can swag it up. What am I wearing today? Hoodie and sweats. Nike with my branded stuff on. I can put a suit on. We can do whatever we want to do. But we got to get away from this entertainment value, and we could make it sexy. Y'all can. Y'all younger than me. We swag this up.
Yeah.
It's a wrap.
Put some sauce on it.
Yeah. We all loose. We do whatever we want to do. I'm just a little square than most. That's all. But we can do what we want to do. Mardi Gras is this weekend.
That's a fact.
You feel me? So we have to understand what we don't understand and get around people who are doing it, man. And especially get around our sisters. We need to take care of our women a little bit better. Because the women, especially the ones that have gone to school, got their degrees, and they're in these spaces and fighting.
They killing it.
Oh, they killing it. So they need us as men to tighten our game up a little bit and not over-sexualize everything and be like, yo, sis, I got you over here, and be a pillar and get back to what made us great. We're not that far off. We're not that far off.
That's a bar right there. That's a bar right there. And because we're talking about the acquisition parts as well, what about the selling of businesses, right? What about whenever we want to start selling businesses? How do we shift our people's mind to that CEO mode to where we understand it's okay for you to sell this a business? It's okay for you to use it as a stepping stone, as a starter. I like to call it a starter business sometimes.
When you are building a business, you build it to sell it. Part of the building.
But I feel like our culture is one of the only people who, like, we don't build it to sell it. We build it for the legacy.
I don't say that. I don't think it's that our culture doesn't build to sell. For some reason in our heads, now that the internet has made generational wealth a term that the everyday black person knows, whether they care about financial literacy, business, or any of that stuff or not, that they think that, oh, you had this business, they offered you money for it, you sold your generational wealth because this business was going to generate wealth, you know?
That's because we're not in enough business rooms. We're not college because we say it's a scam. You know how often in the college rooms that I've sat in, PWI or HBCU, we just bought into and have shares with a venture capital company. They build these tech firms to sell them. Mm-hmm. The guys that started Google, they still got rights to it and they still get revenue, but they're not running Google.
Elon Musk with PayPal.
That's all acquisition.
Mark Cuban with his first company.
Some of the wealthiest people in the world
have done it through acquisition. It's a hyper growth speed. I would honestly say we need to go buy them and flip them. It's like you flip houses. You can flip businesses too. I don't even look at businesses for sale on Biz Buy Sell to see how long the owner already had it. And if he only had it for a couple of years, he's flipping it because he got in it and raised the revenue, raised the value. The valuation's higher, flipping out of it. Mm-hmm. It's a normal thing. That's why I say our business acumen has got to increase. Who we listen to has got to change. Some of the hoteps and Dr. So-and-sos who talk like the lady with Honey Pot. That was a wonderful exit. She's still on the business.
And we were literally just talking about that on the last
she still owns shares in the business too. So she really ain't even. She's still
the CEO.
Invested in the business.
Most definitely. What's her long-term strategy? It can't be that firm. We don't understand what growth is about and what scale truly is. It's not about winning a government contract and all those things. It's taking that business, which is why I don't like some of the middleman strategy that I see out there that we're kind of flipping through these things. That's not how it works, man. Exiting a business, like when we do our 16-point spreadsheet, one of the points is the valuation. When do you hit break even? When do you start profiting? When does that business hit that valuation? And can I sell? And who am I selling to?
What's that 16-point spreadsheet? What was that? Is that a tool you use in your bank ready?
Yep. So every business needs to know what their assumptions are, revenue assumptions, profit assumptions, profit and loss projections, cash flow, cash burn, break even. You should know all those things in your business. Mm-hmm. What is going to be valued at a certain revenue pike. Man, it's a lot of, and we can know it. We're not stupid. We know what we're talking about. We just have to be introduced to it. Mm-hmm. So to your question about the acquisition part, we got to get out of that. We selling out and all that. Who told you that? And what business room did you hear that from?
And I think another part that
awesome.
The culture reacts to it is like, man, we had something for us. They sold it to a white corporation or they sold it to a big corporation. Because I remember a few years ago, Shea Moisture. Yeah. People learned that, Shea Moisture had sold, and then they ended up changing some of the ingredients and stuff in the actual product itself. So I know that is another angle that people look at it as, is like, oh, we had something for ourselves, but now you just sold it and stuff like that.
I get it. I really do. And I'm not saying that to be facetious. I understand that, yes, we can have things that's ours. And so much has been taken from us. Let's just get that out of the way. I think psychologically so much has been stolen from us. The DuPont family was one of the first families that sold ammunition to the government. That's one of the first government contracting companies.
Really?
This is World War I. They sold ammunition, gunpowder to the government back then to start World War One. And they do plastics now. So when you think DuPont, it's like, damn, they everywhere. Mm-hmm. So how did they grow and scale? They sold pieces off. So-and-so acquired. J.P. Morgan funded everything. So when you look back at history and how acquisitions happen, you may have sold that off, but the liquidity you got allowed you to do something else. You can't stay in one revenue pocket. Yeah, they might have taken ingredients off or whatever. But you have enough black beauty care products that are staying with us. So let's make sure we're putting money into those businesses. Make sure we're supporting our own businesses. And I hate to use the word support, but make sure we're frequencing those businesses, right? But again, it goes back to you have to understand that these things may sell off. And if it goes to a white firm, we'll stop buying it. We have enough buying power to be our own nation. We hear the stats all the time. So maybe if it got acquired by so-and-so, well, if you don't like the ingredients, go somewhere else. Right? That's fine. We have
You help them build it up to this point anyhow.
Yeah.
This is what we should do. We always often talk about group economics, right? Circulating the dollar, and that is that. If you help them build the business to a point where they can sell it and then use that. I think sometimes people just instantly assume that, like, they take this money and then they go do like the chick that took the money for BLM. Like, just gonna spend it on nonsense and take money that you misappropriation of funds and stuff like that. Yeah. These people, chances are, if they built a great company, they probably going to do something. They got a new idea, a new something that they're going to want to pursue that's going to probably create even more impact.
I would
Seen
agree.
it with Elon and PayPal. Elon went from PayPal to SpaceX.
There's a lot that, again, we have to be in these business spaces because honestly, we need to spend more time on LinkedIn. We don't. If we're going to really say we about our business, I don't mind Instagram, TikTok, and all that, and YouTube. It's fine. But we got to be on LinkedIn more and be in the spaces where we're understanding the grander landscape of business. So when things happen and you see other black businesses doing some great things too, there's not, if we lose one, oh my God, we're downfall. You know how many black businesses are really killing it? A lot. Like a ton. Black tech, oh my God. These young kids, bro, these young high schoolers and early college, middle schoolers, how bright they are. Oh my, I'm shocked. So we're doing fine. We're doing better. But if we don't understand it enough, which is why I'm glad you guys are putting it out, we will be much better off once we really and truly understand how vast this business world is and what business is truly all about. Period.
So, okay. Hey there, World Builder. Hope you're enjoying the show. Let me ask you something real quick. If I were to tell you that you could get your business brand, product, or service in front of an audience of over 200,000 actively engaged monthly listeners, how much do you think that would cost you? You're probably thinking something crazy like an arm and a leg. Well, I'm here to tell you that you're wrong. This is actually something that could be quite affordable. Here at Black Wealth Renaissance, we are offering small business owners the opportunity to promote their business brand, product, or service in front of the Black Wealth Renaissance audience for very affordable rates. If this sounds like something that interests you, please click the link in the show notes. We have a short survey form for you to fill out where you can provide us some information about your business, and a member of our team will reach out to you regarding promotional services. Please hurry because this offer won't last long. Thank you so much for being a loyal listener of the show. Now, let's get back to these gems.
Okay, so I do want to talk about some more things with like the procurement and the government contracting, right? Understanding whenever you're going to secure a contract, what should you look for? How do you know if a contract is advantageous for you? What are some of the red flags you should be looking out for as well?
So first off, what business are you running? That's sometimes I've seen more often than not lately. People try to go after the contract and get the business to come behind it. It's not smart. I know some people teach it and it's fine. I've heard it taught, I've seen it taught to where they'll go get a contract and they'll get somebody to try to fill it. No, what are you doing now? Like, what currently are you doing that you're good at? Because again, it goes back to numbers. Do you know your numbers? And just because you get $1 million contract, can you profit from that? And you don't want to get into a contract just to get it and then fail, and then now your reputation is bad, you know. And government is small. They all talk and word gets out. So, but to answer your question, before we even jump into that, Are you associated with or going to your professional technical assistance centers, SBA, Small Business Development Center? They used to call them PTAC, but they call them Apex Accelerator now. Those are tax dollars free to you before you even come to me. Go over there first. Learn the language and the cycle and how these things work.
Mm-hmm.
Find out which agency out of the hundreds that are out there that is procuring a need for services that you do. First off, let's do that first. When you learn the cycle and how these things work and who's buying your services, now you can start to court one or two. Right? I may go to Air Force, VA, and the city. And now I'm seeing, okay, how they're procuring, how I do what I do, and then how can I make sure I'm profiting. So they'll have small business pricing, so you can't price yourself out of it, but make sure you get these open records requests from previous contracts to know what they're priced at and what they're doing. And then when your turn comes up, or this RFP, or a request for proposal, or a solicitation, or a pre-bid meeting, or a project comes up, you know how to fall in based on what you do, based on how they've done it in the past. You can fall in line and you can do your thing. Don't rush. If it's too quick, you're trying to hurry up and rush, don't do that. You may miss something. And you get awarded this contract because they're awarding based on what you can do, and you go to perform, oops, I'm short something. Damn, I'm going to mess up.
Now you got to eat it.
You got to eat it.
And that eating can make or break you.
I've seen it break a lot of people. Sure.
So I know with you, with your first contract, you said, it was too big for you. You had to back up. How did that not hinder your reputation? And how'd you recover? How'd you, go into your next one with the knowledge that you learned from that?
So this is why I said earlier, 70% of the stuff's relationships.
Mm-hmm.
People understand business things happen. They're not stupid. And it's how you handle yourself when that thing happens. If you take an L or have to take an L or whatever, if you articulate what's going on. Mm-hmm. Look, I got to exit out of this. This is getting too whatever. Okay, fine. Again, you can sell out. Not sell out, but you can sell out of a position. Mm-hmm. Just like you sell out of a stock position. Sell out of that position, recover, sit back, chill. One of the blessings for us is that when I was getting out of that space, a lot of my colleagues were like, hey, can you help us with this? Can you help me with that? I'm like, what? Well, I need some help with operations. I need help with this. I need help with that. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't know it was called consulting at the time. Like, so you're going to pay me that to do this? Oh, all right, cool. Bet I can do that. I can do that all day long. And I'm being paid for this instead of being paid for my hands or labor. And I'm like, okay, I can downsize my team. I don't need so much. I can do some of this stuff on my own. So I was able to let most of that team go do their thing, and I stayed kind of solo with just a few people and handle that consulting realm. So that's how I went from a bigger project we had to exit. Because, yes, I knew I was taking an L. I knew I had to get it. It was too much. But I made sure that forward-facing, this is we're at a position. Let's go ahead and exit out. People not knocking it. They're not like, oh my goodness. I didn't fail. Mm-hmm. I didn't, screw up.
You just
I got out while to get it was good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That makes sense, though, because I could understand what you're saying, like where respect can be given to you in business, because it's like I didn't mess y'all over. I just, hey, look, I'm overwhelmed right now. I communicated it with y'all, and
you handled it.
Let's move forward this way.
Yeah. I was getting messed over internally. Yeah, one of my business partners at the time was really screwing us over, but I didn't let you don't let your laundry out like that. Mm-hmm. So there's ways you handle things internally to where it's not a problem. I don't know. You have to be able to be in a position to show, like you said, integrity. So you about your work. You're always about your work. And again, people they know you're not going to be perfect. Things won't happen. This is when you call a meeting, bring people in, strategize. My plan has changed. This has changed, whatever. You go on the road accordingly. That's it. We need to do that better. That's why relationships are so hella important. Your reputation means everything. I've seen people take the biggest L, but if you're supported in that space, then you'll be all right.
So, Coach, we talking about relationships right now. I always just like to, what are some of the things, whenever we talk about building relationships in that space, what are some things that are relationship building activities? It's not just like on just a personal level or professional level. What are you doing?
Golfing with the guys.
Okay. First off, always keep it professional. Got to be careful because you're dealing with both sexes. So you got to be very cautious not to let things get too friendly. Keep it above board. I'm here about my business. It will get friendly, yes. You'll find out about people's families and kids and all that kind of stuff, and you want to kind of be that way. That's why having relationships, being married or having a girlfriend or whatever, showing stability in your life is important. Yes, you will there'll be a meeting at noon, might be over at 3. Let's go to happy hour, let's chop it up. Hey, we got a golf tournament like the North American NAMAC in Houston, National Association of Minority Contractors. They have golf tournaments every year. Associations have golf tournaments, best things to go to. That's 4 hours on the course or a whole day that you spend with somebody and get to really know who they are. Go on a happy hour, drinking up a little bit, let the drinks flow. You find out a lot about people, good, bad, and different, but you really can bond with people quick. Going to these networking events. I love the procurement forums, the breakfasts, these professional outings. The consistency shows you're serious, shows they can rely on you.
They start to see a familiar face.
Oh, yeah. I tell people all the time, if you can spend a year going to the same events over and over, because there's always a meeting after the meeting after the meeting. Mm-hmm. And that's why I've cut my teeth at. I just sit back and just go. And I know when I need to talk, I know when I don't need to talk. There's a dance you have to do, and shout out to Michelle Gardner. She's with the VA, high-ranking official with the VA. She says I can dance well. But, it's an art that I perfected, and there's a way you need to dance with people. Know when to talk, when not to talk, what questions to ask, be very critical in your thinking, and discern and listen for what the problems are, and you speak when you can address the problem. So based on what y'all telling me over here, right, J.E. Dunn construction firm, McCarthy, whomever, right, I know you're working with your small businesses and who's involved with this, that, and the third, who's doing this and that, right? I read this disparity study that came out, and I know you're trying to get more small businesses involved. Who's doing that work for y'all? Because I know the solution. So I'm backing into the problem that they have with my solution without overselling. Oh, I can do this, I can do that. No, it's the way you talk. There's a way you articulate what you do by addressing their need, letting them know that I feel your pain. Mm-hmm. If you're dating, you don't just run up on old girl, let's go to bed. No, you listen to her, you hear her, you talk to her or him. You find out where they're, do you like cake or do you like pizza? Do you like seafood or whatever? And when you find these things out and you set up the date, where we going? Oh, don't worry about it. I'll tell you when we get there. And it's a seafood place that she likes or he likes, whatever. Business is the same way. You research the company. Like you say, you did research. You research the company. You know what their values are, their value propositions. You know what their mission statement is. Your business plan has the same mission statement or something close. All these things we learn. Y'all keep saying college is a scam. You think I learned most of this stuff from? Talking to other people in those spaces. Other fraternities and sororities, other groups that are like it. You find these things out if you just listen and see how other successful people do it. Mm-hmm. So building relationships is everything. It opens doors you can't open.
Amen.
Yeah, people will vouch for you when they know you can, and they like doing it, especially people in high-ranking positions. Man, this last weekend, relationships, the free work that we did and I did and others did on LinkedIn for almost a year and a half. Every Wednesday we on LinkedIn. Demystifying government contracting, talking and teaching. Built up such a coalition to where now we had this retreat and we didn't get paid for it. You think we got paid a couple racks. We didn't. But what came from it? Okay. Because now you gave. So start giving and serving first. Building on the strength of we're going to do this. We're going to build this thing together and see what happens. Now I have favors I can call for. Y'all watch the show Billions on Showtime?
I've heard about it. I haven't watched it.
For those who have watched it, you don't talk about. Watch that show. And watch when people do favors and how those favors get answered back. Mm-hmm. How there's a certain etiquette with that. Watch that show. Watch that.
Check it out.
Watch it.
I heard it's a good show.
Mm-hmm. I'm about to check that one out. So,
it teaches you a lot.
I kind of want to ask now because this is something that was kind of on my head. Something that I heard you say before. It was a quote you said once. Is small businesses don't fail due to a lack of funding. They fail due to not planning and they quitting too soon, right? So I feel like what you doing over at Bank Ready is kind of like your solution to that, right? So can we talk about Bank Ready, just kind of getting the full scope of what it is? Bank Ready, it's not just government contracts, right? You're helping businesses from like more of a business coaching standpoint, correct?
Yeah. If you look at my last Instagram post, one of my clients asked them alone, they're a tea room, a tea and party room, and they do everything from international tea. I didn't know tea was a big thing.
Oh yeah, tea is huge.
Bro, I'm like, I'm in the wrong gosh darn business. For real. I'm looking at the numbers and we doing the numbers for it. I'm like, wait, what? You gonna make how much and when? I should have got equity in this thing. Dang. And I might still be able to. But anyway, so Bank Ready is kind of twofold. Bank Ready is, yes, getting you ready for the bank. And how I even came up with that term, and it's a registered trademark, which took me a while to get that, because they thought I was trying to open up a bank. I'm like, I don't need a charter. They thought I was really trying to like low-key open up a bank. But Bank Ready is, I got turned down for a major loan. Right before that project kicked off, I got denied, like a hard denial. I walked in the bank, I was in tears in the car, for real. I was like, bro, this is supposed to be it. I knew my numbers. I knew my ish. You couldn't tell me nothing about my numbers. But I didn't know what they needed to know. I didn't get their underwriting on the business side. So I walked back in there, I said, ma'am, listen, I know I got denial, but I need to know what I need to do to be ready for this, because you said I wasn't ready. She said, I'm glad you came back. Most people don't. Sit down. The bank was closing. She said, sit down. We stayed like an hour and something later. She broke it all down to me. There wasn't nothing illegal. She just showed me what the bank's underwriting criteria was, what I need, what I didn't have. I'm like, what? I didn't catch that. Okay, bet. I'll see you tomorrow. I didn't sleep that night. I went back home, tore it up, came back. Okay, I think I'm ready now. I was at the bank before they walked in the door. She said, oh, you came early. I said, yes, ma'am. Had donuts for them and everything. Oh, I thought they would have approval. Yeah. Because I knew what they needed, and I was bank ready at that point. And she kind of said it like, you're bank ready now. Like, you're ready for it.
That's what kind of put that seed in your mind.
I'm like, oh, I got it now. And I kept testing it. And like, how many businesses, when I start consulting, don't have, what's the problem y'all facing? You don't have what again? Let me go figure it out. Okay, I need to get you ready. Because everything is you're not ready. We're not meeting capacity. We're not ready. Everything's you're not ready. Well, Bank Ready is going to be financially ready and bankable for the marketplace. Can what you do cash a check? Everything's money. Everything to some extent is about money. So are you bankable for the marketplace, and can you go into the bank and get the money you need? That's what Bank Ready does. So we're building capacity through innovation. So we have AI that we use to make it more efficient, more effective, straight to the point. So the Bank Ready financial tool is an AI-driven tool. So that way you're not guessing. Ask the business owner right now. Everybody in the comments, put in the comments how much money you need for your business. You can get all kind of different answers.
$1 million.
$50K, $100K, whatever. What is that based on?
Good question.
Keep answering though. But what are they basing it off of? Yeah. So we do feasibility studies. We do the market research. We use AI to help us. And we say, what is the market needing? What is your NAICS code? Your North American Industry Classification System. What does that code say? And there's top 10 businesses in that revenue base in that NAICS code, follow them. What do they do to get those numbers?
That's smart.
And then the money you figure out you need, what's the runway? If I spend $100,000, where's it going? When do I hit revenue? When do I hit break even? When do I start profiting? Can my cash flows and my investments from that debt grow my business? You might need double or triple what you're thinking for. That's where Bank Ready comes in. We're making sure we're building financial capacity and operational capacity so you can go out and do your thing. Every business needs it.
So I don't want you to give away all the sauce, but I am going to ask. Can you just give me 2 points that you think every business should have covered to be bank ready? And I once again, I don't want you to give away all the sauce, but not no general answer. Like what was 2 points that you think every business would need?
I need every business to understand what the top 10 companies are doing in your industry. Not what you do. Your NAICS code, your NIGP code, your PSC code, all those codes in your industry. I need you to know those top 10, 15 companies. When did they start profiting? When did they hit break even? When they went from small to medium?
How do they get all of these records and everything like that? Is it public? Is it on a certain database, something like that?
www.naics.com.
I was never really a runner. The way I see running is a gift, especially when you have stage 4 cancer. I'm Anne. I'm running the Boston Marathon, presented by Bank of America. I run for Dana-Farber Cancer Institute to give people like me a chance to thrive in life, even with cancer.
Join Bank of America in helping Anne's cause. Give if you can at BofA.com/supportAnne. What would you like the power to do? References to charitable organizations is not an endorsement by Bank of America Corporation. Copyright 2025.
Springfest and Ego Days are here at Lowe's. Right now, get a free Select Ego 56-volt battery with purchase of a Select trimmer, blower, or mower kit. Plus, shop today for new and exclusive items you need for your lawn. So get ready for spring with the latest in innovation from Ego, the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Only at Lowe's. We help, you save. Offer valid through 4/2. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
There's a Google search bar. Type in what your industry is. Real estate. It's going to make you niche down. We're doing commercial. We're doing residential. We're doing
hospitality.
Properties, whatever. One of those, and then when you click that, you go click that NAICS code, it's going to bring up the top 10 revenue driving companies in that NAICS code. It's going to show you how many employees they have, revenue, website, all the data you want to know. Dive in, because that's your industry.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big boys. That's the Belichick's and the Nick Sabans and the all the big. That's Super Bowl teams.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. And if they made it there in this industry, how can I make it there? Maybe instead of starting my own business from scratch, let me go buy one that's healthy like them and do what they're doing. And websites look the same, all those things. Can you mimic that? Then come to the table. Because once you do all that, you can be like, well, hold on. I might want to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
So market research is the #1 thing I need businesses to start doing more of. Mm-hmm. Understand where you're going based on who's already plotted the path. We ain't got to start from scratch. No. Why? Go back. #2, read Powernomics, Dr. Claude Anderson. Read Powernomics and build a quasi super PAC of when you start driving revenue with your colleagues, you're all going to put money into the super PAC and put money behind council members and politicians to drive policy to affect your industry and your school systems and that tax base. That ecosystem, if we all did that consciously out the gate, plug Bank Ready into it, and go from there. We don't do that at all. That's probably the first time that's been said on social media, on video, period. But it's happening in other spaces.
I know me and him, we're very big advocates for lobbying. Political action committees and lobbyists. Like, that's what we also agree. Like, we don't do that enough. We don't have enough people. Like, nope. I always talk about the Ice Cube thing. Like, everybody crucified him, but he had a plan. I didn't see nobody else ever come up with, like, this is a plan of what we should have.
I would get with Cube, and honestly, I won't say our plan is better than Cube's. Our plan puts Cube's plan on steroids. If you just followed it. And I'm not doing anything that special. I'm just innovating and refining Claude Anderson's plan, which is still, to this day, the quintessential plan for us to do right. We just don't follow it. It's there. Not the Dr. So-and-sos who building these schools and the school ain't off the ground yet. None of that mess is working.
Thanks.
Claude's plan works. Sorry.
Nah, you keeping it a bean.
I'm keeping the buck because you can't debate that.
The biggest piece of it, that the reason it does work is because it's looking at America as the system it is. We are a capitalist. I can't forget the exact word evades me. We're a capitalist system that's driven by government and policy. So, like, if the government policies, we're like a free market. We're like a regulated free market, right? Mm-hmm. So if we are not actively trying to influence the people that are making policy, that are choosing the things that are going to do, we're never going to be in a position like we're talking about political action committees. I think which the example I bring up, the Stop Asian Hate Bill. Everybody was really mad about the Stop Asian Hate bill getting passed so fast. And whenever you go and look and follow the money, the Stop Asian Hate bill was passed because there is a political action committee that paid lobbyists to go in Washington that advocated for this bill to get passed. That's why it was passed in such a quick time. It had nothing to do with, they don't want to do nothing for black people. It had everything to do with these Asian people put their money.
Too.
So yeah, first of all, you're not black.
Than us too.
Stop Asian Hate.
Yeah.
Versus Black Lives Matter, like Black Lives Matter, but they was able to poke holes in that. How you gonna poke holes and Stop Asian Hate?
Because of how it was set up and who's driving it. You're either chess. You're either the pawn being moved or you're the pawn being played. Which one you gonna do? You're either moving the pawn or you're the pawn being moved. So Black Lives Matter was created to do certain things. It sounded like it was something else. But if you go behind who created it and watch what they were doing it for. I don't knock these Asian plans and the LGBTQ community, which we need to stand behind because they're just as marginalized as we are. Get out your feelings and go with what is actually happening. We could do great for ourselves. Stop calling yourself black because according to the Constitution and
say what you was gonna say. You was about to say it. Say it.
According to this Constitution, you're not black, brother and sister. You're 3/5 of a human, and the reason why you're 3/5 of a human is because they can control you as property. So they can have breeding grounds for you and force our women to get raped because you're property as I'm black. But let's go what our history was beforehand. You were kings and queens, yes, but you were Moorish. You were Moors. You were of a certain genealogy coming from Ethiopia, coming from Nigeria, coming from the islands. We were actually here beforehand. You had Africa is still here. Go to Pangaea and see where we were at. We were always here. Like my family is Choctaw and Cherokee back home. When I take a shower every night, all this gets red as heck. We are from this land. A lot of us are. But we were prisoners of war and how slavery came upon us. So you're not black. What are you? It's going to be hard for us to get our gene pools because some of the genealogy companies are owned by private companies. But find out who you are and what is your genealogy like. Where's your people come from and quit calling yourself. Now, we can call ourselves black. I get it. I'm cool with that. But know who you are, though, and know what construct you're under. Go to Dun and Bradstreet and look up the United States of America and see who's running it. See who's principal owner and has a Dun and Bradstreet number and an EIN. Every state's got an EIN number. This is a corporation and a business for a reason. When you start getting that part under your belt, oh, man, it's a wrap.
I ain't gonna lie. I did not realize every state had an EIN number.
Every state, there's been federal dollars come down. These states kick it back if they don't want it. It's a business decision. So I don't get mad and emotional when things happen. I find out what y'all doing and why we don't do that. A lot of us are. We'll say the sororities and fraternities or the bourgeoisie and this and that and this and that. Stop listening to pundits on TV. What is that person actually doing? They're paid to do certain things. Look at what's going on now with the whole Cat Williams stuff and all that. What's coming out? Nobody's saying people lying. It's facts.
You right. Ain't nobody called.
Monique was just on there. Ain't nobody said.
The only person I heard call Monique a liar is D.L. Hughley.
And that's another conversation. But
that is another conversation.
No. But it's facts though. But it's like at the end of the day, for us as a people, getting back to the core of it all, we follow so much mess and craziness that we don't get to the core facts of what can really move this culture forward. And we can do it so quiet and so. In the movie The Matrix, when Neo got inside and blew it out from the inside out, do you know we could do that now? What businesses? Okay, they burned Black Wall Street, Tulsa, and all that. Flooded multiple Seneca Village in New York. Now it's Times Square, whatever, all that park and all.
Central Park.
That was Seneca Village at one time. So many things in this country were ours, and they burned it and blew it up. What can't they blow up? What can't they burn? Their own economic base. Businesses for sale. You're not going to blow that up and burn it. That's part of the economic structure. You won't blow up and burn contracting and B2B and B2G. No. So let's get into the core of what business truly is and start really moving in that space. And again, I'm going to go right back to Claude Anderson again. It's already written out. Cube got blown up for doing the right thing. He doesn't have enough support, to your point. Let's give that plan support and start doing that now. And start worrying about influences and things that don't matter. quite frankly, and quit getting scammed by people that don't do what we need to do and put our money towards the right thing and teach our children to do the same thing. Them kids ain't stupid.
Not at all.
Them kids are brilliant. Give them a little something. Let them be prompt engineers for AI and cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is what nursing was in the 80s. Every company is going to need cyber something. AI is here. If you go to the federal procurement data system, where all federal contracts are, and you put artificial intelligence in the search bar, you go back to 1980 something, 70 something. They've been doing artificial intelligence research. See, nothing new.
Not at all.
And nothing new. So when we get our mindset into that and not get thrown and understand how to do our own due diligence for the people we follow and the businesses that we want to acquire and get into, we'd be so much better. Like I said, like that, we can turn the needle on this stuff. And Bank Ready does that from a mindset perspective. We do CEO coaching and training. We teach how businesses should run. So that is everything we just talked about is Bank Ready at its core.
So I got one final question before we go into our special segment. How do you help companies as a government contract lead and liaison?
We find out what is it that company's doing. I'll give you an example. A company they have an AI model that does workforce development, and they're tackling some things in Oklahoma. We understand what the government and how the government buys. We've mastered that part. We have relationships all over the place, and we understand how to take a private sector company and make it speak government, because it is a language you got to speak. There's a way you go about doing things. There's a speed and a whole culture and a vernacular and just a way things work. Just like you going from playing ball in D2, you want to go D1, you got to train different. You got to act different. You got to eat different, all that. Same thing. So as their liaison, we are going ahead of them to the agencies they need to work with and pretty much laying out the groundwork. This company's coming. What do they need to do? And we ask that ahead of time. We know how to source contracts for them, make sure they're attacking the right contract at the right time. So that when they go after the opportunities within government, local, city, state, federal, we even know what's best for them, either city or federal or a mix. We can do projections for them. Because, I'm understanding the government government spend comes out like every May. We are into those numbers way ahead of time. So I knew we know ahead of time before the government year starts in October, where is things going. We're in meetings, we're in being advised. I've got prime contractors that are our confidants and advisors who tell us, go here, go there. This is what's going on this way. And it's all public record. You just need to be in position to know. So from real estate to culinary, it's all business for us. So please make sure you can play ball in that right field. And which field should you be playing? And we give you perspective. A lot of people think, I'm going to go out and win a contract in 6 months. No, it takes sometimes a year and a half to get your first contract. People don't want to hear that. You can't just take a boot camp and understand the fundamentals. Quit paying people for the basic stuff and go to the SBA, go to PTAC, go to SCORE, and get the basic fundamentals down.
Because it's free over there.
Totally free.
That's what their whole job is, actually.
Yeah, that's taxpayer dollars. The Maryland Apex Accelerator, Alaskan Apex Accelerator, the one in Texas, the one in California, they're great. They teach so well. The YouTube pages I'll watch them. Full of information.
I'm going to have to check that out.
Start going over there, especially the Maryland one. The Maryland Apex Accelerator, shout out to them, is great. If y'all in Atlanta, go to Atlanta Procurement Office. Start going to those meetings, right? There's a lot of real estate in Atlanta. They need affordable housing everywhere. Land banks and HUD, and there's a lot of money in those spaces. So if you want to be in those industries, you don't have to pay anything. Just get in the room and figure out who's where and let them know what you're trying to do. Talk to them. Sit back and listen.
Like you told us earlier, it's 70% the relationships with the people, but 10 to 15% what you actually know, and the rest is what you can do.
Man, it's a wrap.
That's
and a lot of
crazy.
the banks are there, and the other institutions are there. They're all in these meetings. And again, they're driving the economy. Taxpayer dollars are at use. Go use what your taxpayer dollars are there for. Then you get with a firm like us who's been around for a minute, who can take what your baseline learning Notice in sports, they always talk about, let's get back to the fundamentals. Why'd you ever leave? Business is the same way. The fundamentals always
win.
Always. We hear SAM.gov all the time. SAM.gov is a little piece of this. You need to go to GSA.
What's GSA? This is
General Service Administration. General Service. They're the ones that really buy everything. GSA is the big boy. SAM is like the little brother, right? And then you've got the different procurement systems that are out there. Learn how GSA works. Free information there too. But go to GSA. SAM.gov is cool, but GSA buys way more than SAM does.
Is it GSA.gov?
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of misinformation about pricing, which is hurting a lot of small businesses. Mm-hmm. GSA has a pricing model right there that pulls all kind of contracts together and show you how to price according to your industry. You don't teach that enough. So my job is to come out here and let's start teaching it. But get into GSA. Follow our content to where you can see the pricing model. And there's so much stuff out there that's free. Then once you get that groundwork, NAICS.com, find out what industry you're going to, niche down, go to the Apex Accelerators, go to the Bain, go to SBA, and tell them what you're trying to do. And they're going to guide you. And then let us be there to really help navigate it. Because there's certain things that they don't do from a business perspective. But they'll give you enough of a foundation.
So, how does somebody get involved with Bank Ready?
AwesomeBusinessStrategies.com. Check out our website. We have a monthly subscription membership, which I think any business can join because it's giving you a really good foundation. There's a part on there that says plans and pricing, and there's a monthly membership under $100 a month. You'll get me once a month. You get my team. You get data I don't put on social media. Mm-hmm. It's a true mentorship, right? And I want to drive it up as high as I can for the numbers so people can really see and be a part of a community that's learning. No pressure. You ain't got to try to get a contract tomorrow. That's not my goal. My goal is to teach and give you a holistic approach. Now, once you get in there, you're like, okay, look, let me get some one-on-one. Let me go to another tier. Let me really start to hone in now that I've got myself together. Now we can start taking it up from there. You know what I'm saying? You can book the one-on-ones, do that. Start investing in yourself. But we've got enough of everything there. We're a trusted resource to government across the U.S. and even globally. So we got everything that you need. And if we don't have it, we're like a phone call away to get you what you need. But the Bank Ready system and how to get involved with it, go to the website, check it out. Go look at the content on IG, LinkedIn. Do your due diligence and research us enough to know what you're kind of getting into. Mm-hmm. And dive in. Because we built it to where we are like a source you don't need to go nowhere else.
Hey, I love it. And I just subscribed to that Maryland thing. They only got like 1,000 subscribers.
Oh, I could believe that.
So you're not going to find a lot of people subscribing to them.
To be honest, some of the most valuable YouTube videos I've ever watched have had less than 1,000 views.
Yeah. You know why? Because most of the people in the rooms, they don't use the YouTubes as much because they're already there. They're going to the Apex Accelerator facility and utilizing the people that are there and then going to these other meetings. Now, look at Google 8A conference. The 8A is a business development program through the SBA. See how many people at that conference. See how many people go to these VA conferences and these real government procurement conferences. The one I was in Baltimore was like a week long. There was like 3 football fields of people. They're there. You just don't see them like that. But when you're in the space, and talk about giving you game, let them get a little old-fashioned drink in them, and you start talking. Oh, how I got where I'm at now? Sister. Shout out to Kyle Hamilton. Sister has a nice situation with J.P. Morgan, a cohort, and I was able to teach at. And I followed her that whole conference. Come here, introduce. You need to meet so-and-so. People that I know now, you need to meet so-and-so. You need to meet so-and-so. Some names I can't drop. But you get in these spaces and they start knowing what you're doing. Stuff I didn't know existed. I'm like, oh, that's what happens? Oh, bet. Oh, wow. Relationships. I'm telling you, we can be here for hours and just on how to move. And if we did that more as a culture, it's a wrap.
I love it.
It's powerful. Well,
Yes,
Coach,
sir.
now we about to get into
our next segment.
Next segment here.
Okay.
Standing on Business, sponsored by the Private Small Business Society, small business education for business owners. So we got a few questions here for you.
I know
Multiple choice
I'm pretty
questions.
sure you're gonna smoke this.
Yeah, multiple choice questions. They just biz related to business knowledge of actually owning and operating businesses. So we're gonna let my brother Jalen. He gonna take it. I see you got everything pulled up.
Yeah. So this is gonna be an easy one. A little warm up. What does
Softball.
ROI stand for in business?
Return on investment.
We don't need the multiple choice. Goddamn. Let's go. One on the board. All right. Let's roll. Number 2.
Number 2. In project management, the critical path is A, the most expensive path through a project. B, the sequence of tasks that determines the minimum project duration. Or C, the path with the most critical tasks.
B, because you're looking for your MVP, your minimum value product.
Ooh, he going crazy.
Answer and the logic. You heard me. 2 for 2. Let's go.
You want me to just read all of them?
Yeah,
Okay,
I ain't got to pull it up. Unless you want to hand me your phone.
I got it. I can read it. It don't matter though. Let's see. So we normally ask, what does the S stand for in SWOT, but what does the W stand for in SWOT analysis?
One of the things that we actually are afraid of, weaknesses.
Let's go.
And I would even add to, you need to do a business SWOT and a personal SWOT. We don't do it enough as CEOs or as founders, entrepreneurs. We have our bank credit clients do it. You do a business SWOT and a personal one. And where you're weak at is where you learn to hire from. You never get that taught. So wherever I'm weak at, I got to make sure that my strength is anchored by somebody I'm hiring, and make sure that their resume speaks to that strength. So we hire family initially, and that's cool. But when you're really starting to scale, you hire to your weaknesses. You hire to someone that can bring you opportunities, and your relationships can watch for your threats. Because sometimes threats ain't bad if you're playing for them. Because a threat to the market like now, the volatility, there's threats that people are not even seeing. But if you can plan to hit a threat and bounce off of it, a threat can become an opportunity.
Hey. Answering questions and giving game at the same
I'm
time.
telling you, man. I'm telling you.
Good,
It made me think about what you said earlier about those risks. Even whenever you're doing the project, they already understood what those were. Same thing whenever you listen out those threats.
Yeah, you do a risk. And on that 16-tab spreadsheet, there's a risk assessment model on there too. There are certain things that will say how risky your business venture is. Let the data talk to you. It'll tell you.
What you got, Dave?
So I'm gonna go with right now we 3 for 3. Question number 4. Which financial statement provides a snapshot of a company's financial position at a specific point in time? A, income statement. B, cash flow statement. C, balance sheet. Or D, equity statement.
Should be your cash flow statement quarterly, but some people use their balance sheets first, and the cash flow comes off of it.
This man don't miss, man. He's in the heat of battle. He don't miss. That shit. I don't even know what we can do with the next ones, man. I
gotta
feel
add
like all the best ones. We didn't ask the best ones.
I gotta add a piece to that cash flow part though. Cash flow is king. Cash flow is king. But you want to know what your cash burn rate is. Got to know, and there's an equation for that. You can Google it, look it up. Y'all remember when Silicon Valley Bank fell? CNN put out an article on Friday. Well, not an article, like a news spot. And it said Silicon Valley Bank is falling, blah, 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 because their cash burn rate was too high. And I'm at my desk, and I'm like, cash burn rate too high. Who wasn't watching the damn numbers? Because you know when that cash burn is getting, you know what that runway is. You know. You should know, or you let that sucker run off the tracks, and then 30 days later, so and so buy them up. When we know these things, we look at business a whole lot differently. But what is your cash burn rate? And you take your cash burn rate and you discuss that with your banker, and they'll help you get enough debt to avoid too short of a fall off.
Damn. Hey man, let's get to the last questions of the pod because my brother is out here doing the damn thing. Dave, I'll let you go with your first.
All right,
man.
Coach. So my favorite question I ask everybody: what's the biggest money lesson that you've learned?
Man, biggest money lesson I've learned: twofold. Pay yourself first, invest often in cash flowing assets, early, often, and never stop. I didn't do that early enough. I made a good money on some projects, and boy, I pissed it off. God, you ran through some money, bro.
We're about to get into how you pissed it off too.
You might as well ask your question.
Yeah, follow-up question. So first one is always, are you frugal? Are you a flexer?
You know what? Just from back home, man, I like what I like. I got, my wife laughs at me. I got $400 headphones. I got Beats headphones. I like my music, and I want the quality of music to hear. I don't like to flex like that, man. I mean, if it's called flexing, whatever. I've had Audis, I've had the Urus, whatever. It's because I want it.
Mm-hmm.
Work my ass off, shit. I want what I want, but sometimes I gotta watch it. But I'm reasonably frugal because I got payroll to meet.
Mm-hmm.
Before I came here, I sent out payroll, and I like the money we make, but you gotta make sure. But I like when my people get paid on time. I like when they get paid, and I like to try to give them bonuses more. But we're building now, so I like the fact they're on their grind too. So I'm reasonably frugal, but I do honestly at this stage of my life like a nice lifestyle. I like to walk out my door and see Lake Houston right there, and do different things with my wife. And she's got a heart condition. She died a couple times a year and a half ago, right after we got married. Didn't know her heart was that bad. So I like to be able to make sure she's good and not have to work. So it's not about being frugal; it's about really charting a path so that other businesses can do well. That's what my mind is at.
Okay. Then the follow-up question to that is, what is your biggest thing that you ever blew a bag on, or like you just said, that you pissed some money off on? What's your biggest, like, man, I really fucked that up?
The funny part about it, there was a time when I was traveling internationally, had my first international flight. I had points on my United flights, and I think it was KLM flight, my first big flight over to Madrid. And I didn't know what business first class really was like.
Mm-hmm.
Till you go on the plane, first class, everybody else. Nah, they take you around the corner and upstairs where you sitting in a recliner like this here. And that's your business first class. I'm like, oh, this is what it is? Mom, I made it.
I didn't even know it was upstairs in this one.
I didn't know either. I thought them folks was having to be or something. So I'm like, no, sir, come this way. I'm like, where
we going?
Yeah, for real. Like, hey, whoa. Yeah, where we going? It took around the corner. There's a KLM flight. Took me upstairs, and I'm like, bro, really? Freaking recliner? And they bring you the little towels and the cucumber things for your face. You cock you back. The TV come over.
Is it a life-changing experience?
Like, bro, you can't.
That don't sound like you regret spending your money on that, though.
No, because I regret where the money went after that.
Okay.
Because when you get to Madrid and you get to Barcelona and you start making these moves, like the money's there, and I'm like, I got a project coming. Oh man, let's go. I don't know how much I ran through. So what I regret, because I don't know how much we ran through.
Damn.
I just know I had a good time for like 6 months.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I had two Audi A8s, an A7. I don't know, and I moved too often. We had a lake house in Katy, paddle boat, the whole bit. Mm-hmm. Put a big rock on that, and the market was falling. So I mismanaged money a lot during that time. I just was doing too much. And I should have really been a little more stable for my family looking back at it. So my regret was I should have sat my butt down in that one house we had and not try to keep moving. That was if I had to look back and like, dang, I could have slowed down a little bit right there and really invested better. Bought a house cash and bought more. I knew what to do. In real estate, I should have done better. But that new money do feel a little different. So
new money make you act funny, huh?
Boy, listen. Because you get around people who've been around this kind of, and that's another thing too. When you get to a certain level, folks that's used to that kind of money, they spend different. It's a whole different world. The parties is different. The life is different. It's not crazy. It's just like, whoa. And I was trying to keep up with Joneses, and I could, but I didn't have to. I really didn't have to. So right now I'm like, I'm good. So I'm a little afraid to burn off too much because I'm like, man, let me watch it because we're building. So yeah, good question.
Last question is, do you have life insurance?
Yes.
That is a must.
Key man policy, whole life, the whole bit.
You got the key man. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's a non-negotiable, people watching this.
You need life insurance.
Gotta have it, man.
And if you don't have it, guess who you can contact?
Call us.
Me.
Gotta have it, man.
Hit us up. Check the show notes for that. But no, that's important, man. Coach,
this has been a great episode, my brother.
Phenomenal. I know I'm gonna go back and listen to
we
this.
appreciate you for coming
Because
through.
It's
bro.
a lot of the stuff
Yeah.
that you talked about on here. I want to implement for us as well.
Okay.
So it's definitely stuff. I'm gonna go back and listen to this. I gotta tap in with you. We got to have some more conversations. This has been a phenomenal. So like for again, anybody that's listening, they want to get in contact with you. They want to know how they can work with you on the consulting side, coaching. Please just let them know how they can follow, get in touch with you.
Yeah, so best way to do it, man, and we have a whole system, which is what I want most businesses to get around. Be accustomed to having a system and let people respect your system of how they engage with you. Like I'm here, phone may be going off. I don't know, staff has got it. So if you want to work with us, you got a business. You're like, Coach, I want to learn how to buy a business. I want to do this and do that. Get in government contracting, whatever. Go to the site that says get a quote. There's a couple links of how to engage with us. There's a whole form to fill out. We figured out a way to let me ask you the right questions to get the right answers to put you in the right position so that my staff knows how to take care of you properly. Go to IG. Our YouTube channel just dropped. Bank Ready channel just dropped. All the links are on top of the website. So look around and see what's up. But definitely drop us an email according to the get a quote button or the other, just a general inquiry button. That puts you in our back office. You're in our CRM. We can respond accordingly. We won't miss you. You know what I'm saying? Book the consultations. Yes, there's a price tag to it, but the ROI on that, I'm one-on-one with you. I can digest and figure out what you need and give you a plan that you can go up and make you who knows what. You know what I'm saying? And now I can align you properly where you need to be, and we don't waste time. I don't want to waste no more time on frivolous stuff. So allow us to work with you in that vein, man. But come on over to ABS and with Bank Ready and this trusted brand and let us really impact this community like we need to, man.
Hey, I love it. I love it.
Well, before we get out of here, guys, few housekeeping items. As always, y'all make sure y'all leave us that 5-star rating and review. Y'all know we need that. It helps us grow the show and get it out there to people. I already told y'all need a policy. Tap in with us. David, Jalen, Renaissance Financial Solutions, man. Y'all shoot us a DM, whatever email, we'll be able to get back in contact with you. May drop a form in the show notes, so y'all just be on the lookout for that. Jalen, you got anything for him?
Nah, man. You know what I'm talking about, man. The Black Men Summit. Y'all pull up. Atlanta, 2024. We
September
here.
2024,
Yeah.
ATL, Black Men Summit Year 3. Bigger, blacker, better than ever, more manly. It's a celebration of
brotherhood, yeah.
And it's about to be a phenomenal time. You missed last year, you played yourself, but don't worry. Go to blackmensummit.com. You can catch all the highlights.
Send your husband, send your sons.
Nephews, uncles, cousins,
Anybody.
all of them. Tell them they need to be there in Atlanta next year. If they're in Atlanta, they're a black man, which is probably, I don't know how many niggas is in Atlanta. My bad, man. I'm tripping.
I need to be there myself.
But yeah,
Yo,
pull up on us. Pull up on us. I'm telling you, man, it's a great time. But again, blackmensummit.com. You can check that out there. And
Pre-sales are going on sale soon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So until next time, family, this is David.
Jalen.
Signing out. BWR.
Peace.
McDonald's has entered a Minecraft movie universe, and Grimace, Birdie, and Hamburglar just spawned as new collectibles in the overworld. Now for a limited time, you can get one of 6 McDonald's collectibles when you order a Minecraft movie meal. With your choice of Big Mac or 10-piece chicken McNuggets with spicy nether flame sauce. Available now in a biome near you. Oh, and at your local McDonald's.
At participating McDonald's for a limited time. A Minecraft movie only in theaters.